For years, Minecraft's storyline has been intertwined with elements of horror, from fan concepts like Herobrine to the mystery of Disc 13, but recent additions seem to be ramping up Minecraft's horror landscape, which begs the question, could a Minecraft horror update be coming? So, Minecraft already has some spooky components, from the discs 11 and 13 to the infamous cave noises that have literally traumatized entire generations. But few actually know the truth behind these, and over the course of the next 8 minutes, we'll be taking a look at the already existing horror features and uncovering the next generation of Minecraft horror. Let's go back to 2010. The version was Alpha 1.0.3, and 13 new ambient cave sounds had just been added to the game. These eerie additions totally changed the way that players could experience the depths of Minecraft's cave systems, and was the first true indication of the Minecraft developers' weird obsession with horror. From here, Mojang continued to implement new cave ambience, adding a few new sounds every update until 1.21, which yes, was a whole 13 years later. However, these sounds weren't just to make the game audibly interesting, but narratively as well. Players have speculated the true storyline behind the cave ambience, with theories such as the minecart crashing theory bringing a whole new storyline to these sounds. But cave ambience wasn't the only horror aspect that was introduced in Minecraft's early days. Around a year later, music was introduced to the game in the form of 11 new melodious tracks, and while most were seemingly normal, discs number 11 and 13 went in a way more ominous direction. And so came the second wave of Minecraft horror. Fans eagerly tried to piece together a story, from a fierce mob encounter to a minecart crash to a creeper explosion, but their conclusions remain unconfirmed to this day. Sound familiar? Yes. Just like the previously mentioned cave ambience, this had Minecraft's player base puzzled over the direction Mojang was taking this relatively peaceful game. Another example of Mojang's horror tendencies would be the introduction of the Enderman in Beta 1.8. As you all probably know, the Enderman was a riff on the popular internet horror creature Slenderman, who would appear randomly in the background of many otherwise innocent images. The Enderman is an objectively terrifying creature to add to a game with a largely younger player base. Imagine it's late at night, you're wandering through the desert, when you catch a glimpse of a large, lanky black silhouette. You turn your head to get a closer look, when the shadow unhinges its jaw and randomly starts shrieking as it literally disappears into nothing, until it teleports behind you and jump scares you. If you don't think that's terrifying, congratulations, you're all cool and tough. All I know is that it sent 9-year-old me down the hall yelling for my mum. Now we all know the Warden, released in 1.19 as part of the Wild updates, but many don't know that the Warden was actually the end result of countless iterations of a new horrifying mob. One of the original ideas being the Shade, a completely different mob to anything Minecraft had seen before. If implemented, the Shade would have been a humanoid creature, similar to the Enderman. What's interesting though is that as the player would get closer to the Shade, it would become more and more transparent, until it attacked. In a podcast interview with one of the main developers who conceptualized the Shade, it was stated that
the idea of the Shade was adding spooky ambience and maybe even tying it in with the cave noises.
So it's clear that Mojang wanted to add more spookiness into Minecraft, but the Shade never came. And this wasn't the only concept for another creepy mob that was scrapped. More similarly to the Warden, the Hollowed, and the more commonly known Stalker mobs would also shape what the King of the Ancient City would eventually become. 1.16, the infamous Nether update, and one of the new mobs, the Warden. Whoa. But the Warden was released in 1.19, I hear you say. And while you would be absolutely correct, the Warden was actually initially planned to roam the Nether dimension instead. However, this idea was obviously abandoned as the developers didn't feel that it would fit the Nether. But the Warden isn't the only scary mob currently in Minecraft. Just a few updates later, the Creaking was announced, set to be a completely different mob to ones that fans had seen before. But what Mojang don't want us to know is that there is a whole backstory and lore behind this terrifying mob. As theorized by Withies, the Creaking is very much like the Warden, being created from its surroundings of twig, wood, and resin. Its only job is to protect the fragile Creaking heart from being destroyed, and if it fails, then it dies. This is very similar to the Warden having to protect shriekers over in the ancient cities. So could this be another indicator that Mojang are starting to follow a more horror-like trend with their updates? Well, although the Creaking is just a puppet and not a living creature, this can't be said for its counterpart, the Creaking heart. As confirmed by Mojang themselves, the heart is a living block, further proving that Minecraft's horror landscape is more alive than we thought. However, the more recent Minecraft updates such as vibrant visuals, happy ghasts, and copper golems are completely unrelated to horror, so does this mean that there won't be any future horror updates? No, I don't believe so. I think we'll see more spooky elements brought to the game, especially with more frequent content in the form of update drops. So, we've discovered the existing haunting aspects of Minecraft, but what's next for horror in the most popular game on the planet? Well, although nothing has been confirmed, there are several indicators and even teasers from Minecraft themselves themselves that could hint to more upcoming horror features, and even a horror-themed update. This is a content overview for 2025, supposedly leaked from within Mojang. This could just be a fan-made hoax, but what if it isn't? What if hidden within is the key to the future of Minecraft horror? Let's take a look at the upcoming new Minecraft Dungeons game, codenamed Spicewood. Over the years, several features from other Minecraft spin-offs have ended up making it into the base game, like the illages that were originally conceptualized for Minecraft Dungeons. And the new Spicewood spin-off is no different. In these leaked images released by Cran on X, we can see that the Ancient City portal has finally been activated, and a huge Warden-like boss is emerging from within. So could we potentially see these features added to the base game too? As many have already theorized, the skulk that we see in the Ancient Cities appears to be interdimensional in nature, almost as if it's leaking from an alternate realm behind the portal itself. But what could this dimension entail? Well, first up, every dimension needs a boss battle. We already know that Mojang have been working on a massive Warden-like boss for Spicewood, but what other mobs and features could we see in a Warden dimension? There are hundreds of possible designs created by the Minecraft community, like this terrifying Warden centipede and teeth monster from the Warden Dimension Marketplace pack. And these creepy concepts give us an idea of the game's future horror landscape. Much like the Nether, a common theme amongst Ancient City expansion mods is the large and cavernous terrain, home to many otherworldly mobs, structures, and challenges, all of which we could see in a potential Ancient City biome. With the recent update drops bringing us closer to the big 1.22 update, we'll likely be seeing a major alteration to Minecraft. And seeing as Mojang have mainly been focusing on gameplay improvements over the past year, it's very possible that they're ready to add something completely new to the mix, and have already had it in the works for some time. In a recent image promoting the 1.20-1.8 update, we can see a patch of Skulk along with a ruined Nether portal, so could it be a possible hint for a new Warden dimension? This is all just speculation, and at the end of the day, I'm sure Mojang has all sorts of surprises in store for us in the coming updates, and all we can really do is just wait and see. But hey, what do you think the future of Minecraft horror looks like? Let me know your ideas in the comments, and please do subscribe if you enjoyed.